Alright, Nordco model BC60RBUG Trailblazeer on track, Brushcutter operation maintenance manual. Machine warm-up procedure. Hydraulic fluid warm-up caution. Do not engage the clutch unless the hydraulic fluid is at least 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Running the hydraulics at a temperature below this level may cause extensive damage to the machine. The machine can be used only after the hydraulic fluid has reached a minimum temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The track drive of the vacuum readings of 10 inches of mercury are higher, not permissible. The secondary cold starts recommended, but the track driving suction filter elements be changed. The vacuum reading the 7 inches of the mercury at the hydraulic oil temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. To avoid high track derived vacuum readings in cold weather. The change of the track drive pump suction and filter elements more frequently. Travel. It is more important that you read about the understanding that all operating controls, cautions, warning dangers before of traveling danger. To avoid serious injury to death, make certain that the area around under the machine is clear of all personal obstructions before traveling or working. Failure to engage with all lockup devices before propelling and traveling speed can result in injury, personnel, or extensive damage to the machine. Propelling track travel operation before propelling the machine. Make certain that all the lockups are in proper position. Check the suspension is not locked up for the machines for the optional suspension lockouts. Note that the track drive system is strong enough to overpower the brake system for the reason alternate. Always neutralize the track drive system slowly before applying the brakes. Note all movements of the pump and the motor control levers are carried out, and the following instructions must be carried out slowly and smoothly. Ensure the engine is in full throttle and the hydraulics transmission is warmed up. Refer to the engine startup earlier in this section. Engine of 4-speed mechanical transmission, pushing rocker switch in the desired position indicating on the decal. Note that never shift the mechanical transmission on the fly. Release the parking and emergency brake. Adjust the engine speed. All using the engine speed. Left switch on the control panel to accelerate. Lift up the lock ring on the EDC control lever to slowly move the lower lever into the desired direction until the desired speed is attained. To decelerate, lift up the lock on the EDC control lever to slowly move the lever towards the neutral position, adjusting the engine speed accordingly. To change the direction, bring the machine to the complete stop, moving the EDC control to the neutral position. Accelerate in step 5. Notice never attempt to change the direction of the machine travel without first bringing the machine to a complete stop. Braking. 2-foot pedals operate surface brakes with the normal braking operation. Either brake pedal may be depressed to apply the brakes. Releasing the brake pedal releases the brake. Important. The track drive system is strong enough to overpower the brake system. For this reason, the pump wash plate must be neutralized before the brake. Under the certain conditions described below, this can be taken carefully automatically using the quick stop mode. Otherwise, the operator must neutralize the track drive system using the control lever slowly. Quick stop mode for the braking of the system 5 miles an hour. Slow with the quick stop mode of the braking allows the operator to stop the machine while working at low speeds of 5 miles an hour or lower, using only the brake pedal. When the quick stop mode is activated, application of either the brake pedal automatically neutralizes the pump's wash plate, enabling the operator to stop the machine more quickly. Use the quick stop mode only when working in the second, third gears, and then when working with a speed slower than 5 miles an hour. For speeds greater than 5 miles an hour, the quick stop mode must be deactivated and the track drive system neutralized on the track driving system could be damaged. Parking emergency brake. Your machine is equipped with a full fail-safe brake-up system. There is a loss of the air pressure of the brakes or spring applied. The parking brake is activated with the valve located on the control valve. The valve exhausts air with the spring chamber, permitting the spring force to apply with the surface of the brakes. To operate the parking brake, pull the valve to the apply brakes and push the valve to release the brakes. Apply to allow parking brake and emergency brake before leaving the cab when stopping the extended periods. Machine setup. There are some adjustments which may have made during the varying conditions, such as the rail height and the base width. Adjustment must be made to compensate for these conditions before operations can begin. Danger, serious injury, or death that can be resolved from reaching into the moving components while the machine is running. Blank observation from the safe distance. Warning: always turn off the machine when performing the maintenance making adjustments, or whenever the unintended movement of the machine could occur, unless they're directed. Otherwise, failure to comply could result in personal injury and/or damage to the machinery. To understand all the operation procedures, warnings, and cautions before making the adjustment. Caution. Cutting head of the rotation blade type of the heads. These are two acceptable configurations. The direction of the rotation of the cut head assemblies. Configuration 1 is shown with the drawing of the right will keep the moving of the debris around the track area from when cutting. The use of the rotation configuration, you'll need longer houses to switch the hose connection to the outer cutter head of the motor. Left and right cutter head swap. The cutter head disc number 1 on the left cutter head with the disc number 3 with the cutting head. See the Quadco manual component data section of the manual instruction. Configuration 2 also shown in the drawing will direct the more debris away from the machine, so it is important that you pay attention to the surrounding when using the configuration. Make certain that you are not around the houses buildings or roads when people are may be present. Note that configuration 2 is the standard rotation configuration on the machine as it is shipped from the factory. Configuration 1 left cutter 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 right cutter. Configuration 2 left cutter left cutter forward, right headed cutter 4 to 3, left headed cutter 2 to 1. Brake adjustment. For optimal brake performance, clearance between the brake shoe of the wheel should be ranged from 3/4 inch to 1 inch to adjust the relief of the brakes, turning adjusting nut there in 2 brake chambers until the proper clearance is attained. Set up an operation. Machine operation danger. To avoid serious injury but the death, make certain that all the rear around the under the machine is clear of all the personal obstruction before traveling with working warning. Failure to engage all lockup devices before propelling at the travel speed can result in the injury to personnel and or damage to the machine. Dangerous operation must be continuously during operations. The operation must be continuously on lockout for hidden but immovable, uncuttable objects such as the rock or concrete. Contacts with such hazards may serve the machine damages would pose serious safety hazards. And strongly urge the operators to get the routine making frequent visual specs during the track for potential objects so that they prepare for the immediate corrective action. It's suggested the minimum of 1/4 mile distance maintained between the machine and the people, the houses, cars, etc. while the machine is being operated. Never operate the machine in areas where the people may be hidden view of the near crossing or in the double track territory. Always keep out of lockout with approaching the train sections and crews, etc. The following operation techniques guidelines do or do not are provided within the file to minimize the life of the machine and as components. Do not side the load booms, reduce the travel speed, stop before cutting, denting, brush and trees. Easy to objection or allowing cutter heads to do the work. 2. Do not attempt to cut trees more than 4 inches in diameter. The quick stop of the feature allowed for the quick stop to be made with working speed of less than 5 miles an hour. Do not use the creep inch long, which could damage the track's drive system. This neutralizes the pump lever to neutralize before the releasing the brake pedal. Always operate with the second gear with the third gear when they use the inching control feature. For adjustments to pump, the motor controls must be carried out smoothly and slowly. Leave the motor control at low with the turtle position, except when the pump control has been moved in the maximum position. A further speed increase is required to slow down the set motor control back to lower position before the adjusting pump control. 6. Come to a complete stop before changing the machine direction. Come to a complete stop before changing gears. Come to the complete stop before locking and unlocking the suspension. 9. For 2 operators, it's best to designate 1 operator as reasonable for the travel controls. 10. Adjust the engine throttle control and slowly rotating control knob. 11. Do not cut in reverse or put any pressure on the rear direction of on the boom, the cutter head. This will prevent buckling of the boom swing cylinders. 12. Angle cut head. The angle cut head down over the forward angled attack toward the front of the machine. Avoid jerking the harsh operations boom, swing cylinders, and winches. 14. Set the boom in position. Travel down track. Do not constantly swing booms. 15. Use the winch and raise boom or over relatively short obstacles only. For taller obstacles, reverse the machine and swing the boom into the clearing obstruction. 16. Do not position the booms more than 2 feet above the storage of the cradle, but move with the storage position. Return with the storage position to prevent damage of the swinging cylinders. Do not use the rotate the function to clear the cutter head of the debris. The best technique is to clear by hand. After shutting down the cutter head, storing the arms of the cradle, turning off the battery, disconnecting the switch for the off position. Boom swinging cylinder speed is factory set with adjustments without prior approval. The manufacturer will avoid a warranty. Minimum ground clearance of 12 inches, but should be maintained safely. Do not dump or bump the cutter heads on the ground to stop their rotation. Disengage the pump, driving you with the clutch if provided before starting the engine in winter and cooler weather. After the engine is warmed up, reduce the engine speed to the idle before the engaging the in clutch. Reduce the engine speed slowly to low idle before energizing, de-energizing the cutter heads. Be alert at all times. Anticipate downward track conditions and be ready to take corrective action. Or general operation, make certain that all the startup procedures have been followed before beginning work operation. Make certain that all the lockups have been removed and stored as required. Make certain that the hydraulic oil has been warmed and see the startup earlier in the section. For engage the parking brake to press the cutter head to interlock button. 6. Reduce the engine to the idle speed. 7. Check the measure. Make sure that it's safe to operate with the cutter head. Know that understanding all safety warning and caution dangers before starting the cutter head motors. Pull the motor start control buttons of the cutter head motors, the 2 on each side of the upper control console. If working speed at less than 12 miles an hour, engage optional suspension lockout. Set the booms in position and travel down track. Do not swing the booms. 11. Angle cut head with the forward angle of the attack toward the front of the machine. Do not cut in reverse. Do not attempt to cut the trees or shrubs more than 4 inches in diameter. Maintain ground clearance of 12 inches. Use the quick stop mode with the braking only 2 and 3rd gear when traveling speed less than 5 miles an hour. Do not use a winch to raise the boom over the short obstacles. Taller obstacles reverse the movement machine and swing boom to clear the obstruction. In the event of the boom comes in contact with a stationary object, the boom of the breakaway cylinders will require the resetting of using the valve on the succession valve blanks. Emergency procedure. If the hydraulic hose fails to shut down the machine, immediately determine the cause of the failure correct condition. Indications on the gauge are not known with the normal range. Shut down the engine repair before the operation. Emergency cylinders actuation requires the electrical emergency pump. See the below. Emergency pump optional. Depressing the emergency pump switch in the control console will then operate the required valve handle to move. The attachment is required. Operate the pump in intervals for the maximum of 15 seconds at a time. The pump is designed for the emergency use only. It should not be used for extended periods of time. Emergency stopping. The emergency shutdown should be used only when the engine does not respond to normal stopping engine procedures or an event of the emergency where time is critical. To shut down the engine and stop all the machine functions, push the emergency stop button located on any of the control boxes. Do not use this method as a shortcut to turning off the engine. After operation, machine shutdown. Locate the machine on level track in all possible. Make certain that the two cutter head booms are properly settled in the storage and cradles. Applying the parking brake. Reduce the engine speed to idle speed, allowing the idle for 1 minute. Turbocharged engine should be allowed to idle for 5 minutes. Install the lockups for the cutter head booms. Turn ignition key to counterclockwise to turn off the position. Turn the battery disconnect switch to the off position. Parking and locating the machine. Park and locate the machine on level track area with the possible where it will not be exposed to the excessive dirt. If the machine is towed, the disconnect towing vehicle, set the brakes and move the towing vehicle will clear the parked machine. Rotating the machine on the turntable, which allows the machine to be lifted off the tracks, rotated. The only function of the turntable is to rotate the machine, lift and rotate the machine. Proceed with the following steps. Center turntable bases across the two solid level ties. Unlock turntable valve, the handling located on the back of the cab with the right hand step. Slowly lift the handle lower turntable until it comes in contact with the ties. 3. Move the turntable valve, the handle lever upward until hold it onto the machine is fully raised off the track. Raise the lever. Use the manpower to rotate the machine. The wheel should be directly above the track. After rotating the machine, wheel flanges are properly aligned with the rails. Slowly move the turntable valve, the hand lever, the downward turntable cylinder will retract. The machine will lower onto the track. Install the lockup chains and the hooks where the provided. 7. Install the rotate lock pin. Note the two turntable mounting positions are provided so that the machine can be balanced depending on the attachments installed. Towing. Maximum towing speed is 35 miles an hour. Reduced speed according to the dictated with the weather and track conditions. Remember, the machine weight may approach the weight of the towing vehicle. May increase stopping distance accordingly. It is strong recommended that the drive shaft removed before the towing of the machine. If it is not possible, limit the towing maximum to 10 miles. In an emergency situation, when the removal of the drive shaft is not possible, provided that the distance is towed less than 10 miles, it was possible to simply neutralize the gearbox before towing. Note that the transmission is neutral. The gearbox bearings receive no lubrication, and it's very possible that damage may occur with the transmission. This should only be used in an emergency situation, not as a method to avoid disconnecting the drive shaft from the towing. All right, maintenance and service. Requesting assistance. If you have any questions regarding the maintenance and service of the machine, please call a local Nordco representative. Nordco Service Manager, 414-769-4603, Wisconsin, 1-800-445-9258, U.S. and Canada. Lubricating and maintenance. The following are suggested in notes and guidelines for the performing the maintenance of the machine. Always make sure that the engine has been turned off, the battery disconnected if that has been turned off the position before performing maintenance on the machine. Never clean the dust, repair, or lubricate machine while running unless specifically required, provided all necessary precautions has been taken. When performance maintenance on the brakes, exercise the caution with the spring brake will be disassembled following the brake manufacturer instruction on the outside of this canister before attempting to disassemble the brake housing. The spring of the brake of the chamber under the tremendous compression. 4. Use the caution to drain hot fluids from the machine spring. Hot fluids can cause severe burns. Never open the engine radiator cap while engine and coolant is hot. Never attempt to work under the machine while it's raised with the turntable unless special support blocks provided with Nordco are utilized. Always ensure lubricating oil fluids and filters are clean with the maintained outline section. In this important lubrication is performed at a time intervals stated in the ELT machine. The damage could occur. Always ensure the engine radiator, oil cooler, and kept free of the debris. Also ensure the cooling fins are in good shape and not bent over. Always ensure the pump suction lines and ball valves are open, but not blocked, closed, and collapse. Do not position the boom more than 2 feet above the storage of the cradle when performing the maintenance of the boom. This will prevent the damage to the swinging cylinders. Do not use the head rotate function to clear the cutter head of the debris. Best technique for the cutting heads is by hand. After shutting down the machine, turn the battery disconnect to the off position. Crack the hose at the cutter motors. The boom swing cylinder speeds factory set adjustment without prior approval. The Nordco will avoid warranty. 13 cutter blades that are installed too loosely may become fractured and will cause noticeable vibration during the working. Operation torque requirements specified with the code manual located behind the other tab of this manual. Before the starting the machine, inspect the obvious defects, correct any problems discovered. 15. Inspect the brake shoe for the ice and remove any of the present before operating with the machine. If the ice is allowed to build up on the brake shoe, the brake efficiency is greatly reduced. Do not stand under the cutter heads or to perform the maintenance. Replace glass in the cabs if nicks and damages occur on the outside. Major OEM maintenance specs. Brake period, 50 hours. Oil change schedule, first 50 hours or every 6 months thereafter. Lubrication, API GL5. Capacity, 2 quarts. Lubrication grade, weather dependent. Below -5, -10 Fahrenheit, 75 weight. -10 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 to weight, 90. Above 100 degrees, 85 weight to 140. Fuel pump drive, break-in period 50 hours, oil change schedule 50 hours or every 6 months first. Lubricating APL GL5, capacity 2 quarts, below 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 weight, -10 to 100 degrees, 80 weight, and 90 weight, above 100 degrees, 85 to 140 degrees weight. All right, Bloom MFG boom winch. Break-in period 100 hours. First 100 hours every 6 months after oil change. Lubrication, Bloom Ultra Lube number 601. See notes. Capacity 3 pints. Note: in an emergency situation when the number 601 is immediately available, the SAE grade 80 weight 90 superior multiple use gear oil meeting the API GL5. Use only any other oil will shorten the life of the gears. Do not mix the number 601 or the 80 weight 90 with more than 50% of any of the kind of oil. The John Deere engine break-in period 50 hours. Oil change change schedule 50 hours every 6 months after. Lubrication type API GL5, capacity 2 quarts, below 70 degrees 10 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 weight, -10 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 to weight 90. Above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 85 weight to 140. Alright, this shows the, we're just going to do it with the diagram. This shows the table. Work at loop points. Note the right hand workshop, the major points under machine. Alright, detailed daily instructions. T1, perform checklist on the cutter head saw blade heads. Inspect disc and the missing teeth. Missing teeth, chipped teeth, or check with all the hardware tooth and screwing devices are properly in place. Inspect the disc shaft connection. There should be no play with the hand force with the flywheel through play. Indicate if the cutter shaft is not properly torqued on the cartridge bearings are worn. Ensure the cutter key and the cutter shaft is properly installed. Grease cut head until the grease can be seen. Existing cut between the cutter head frame and the flywheel. For more detailed instruction on the maintenance of the saw blade, refer to the quad code manual behind this other tab at the back of this manual. Make certain that the heavy-duty gloves are worn at all times when performing the maintenance near the saw blade heads. T2, brake adjustment. The brake lever adjustment is a screw you adjust the clearance between the brake shoe and the wheel. If the brake shoe is wearing unevenly, the brake pad adjusting screw. The brake lever adjustment. The clearance between the brake shoe and the wheel should be maintained 3/4 inch and 1 inch. The brake pad adjustment. T3, transmission level. The type of the surface is operating with the conditions that determine the maintenance interval. However, it is recommended for the oil level to be checked weekly. At the same time, the checking of the oil leaks before lubrication system of the heart of the unit is especially important that the oil be kept clean. Stop the engine before checking and adding oil to clean around the oil fill plug. To be recommended with lubricating oil change for after the first 50 hours of service. Therefore, under normal operation conditions, it's recommended that the oil may be changed every 6 months. For the operation, the oil of the unit should be changed whenever the oil level shows traces of the dirt, effects of high temperature, evidence for the discoloration, strong odor. The 6 drain oil will be unit with still warm, contaminating the warm particles. 7, clean all magnetic drain plugs before replacing. 8, always clean and oil clean containers. Do not overfill. This will result in overheating possibility malfunction of the unit. 10, fill the MIL L210 5C or API GL5 transmission should hold approximately 2 quarts. 11, maximum operating oil temperature is 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Lubricating all transmission controls with a good grade of lithium base grease. Alright, T4 pump drive. This shows the transmission fluid check level right here. T4 pump drive. The type of the surface operating the conditions determine the surface interval. However, the recommended that the oil level be be checked weekly, and at the same time check the oil levels. Because the lubrication system is the heart of the unit, it's especially important that the oil be kept clean. Stop the engine before checking and adding the oil. Clean around the oil before checking the oil. Adding oil recommended with the lubricating of the chain for the first 500 hours of the service. Therefore, and under normal operation conditions, recommended that the oil be changed after 6 months of operation, and the oil of the unit should be changed whenever the oil level shows discoloration strong over 5. The drain oil while the unit is still warm. Examine the contamination metal particle. The magnetic drain plug is located at the bottom of the tip of the pump of the drive. Clean all magnetic drain plugs before replacing. Do not overfill the will result in overheating, possible malfunction of the unit. Alright, the pump drive. Fill here and check level. T5, wire rope inspection replacement. Rope inspection. Inspect rope daily. Section for the rope is repeatedly replaced from the under the truss and initial load of each of the lifts is applied with such that those of the section cannot with a sheath. At each end of the rope, the toe, or you inspect the fitting of the attachment of the rope and the condition of the rope when it enters the attachment. The general condition of the drum, it should be inspected carefully. If there's damage to the drum, there is damage to the rope as well. Inspector of the wire rope, check the abrasion, tightness, corrosion of the wear. Corrosion usually occurs when the inside of the out there is the hardest of all to find, while the rope is showed the evidence of the bird caging, kinking, or fraying. Any of the other damage must be removed from the service. Shows the wire rope cable, and the end pulleys. T6, inspection of sheaths and sheath bearings. Rope sheaths should be periodically inspected. The roughness of the worn spots, the worn sheaths that may be damaged to the rope, which result in the rope breakage of the bad spooling. Proper fitting of the sheath that should support the rope over 130 to 150 degrees of the rope circumference. All sheaths should be checked for the tracks, grooving, damage of the tube blocking, undue loosening of the braking, brushing. Brushing should note that the sheath groove surfaces should be smooth and slightly larger than the wire rope being used. Proper maintenance of the equipment which the rope operates and has an important bearing on the rope life. The warming grooves and port line with the sheath of worn parts, resulting shock loads of excessive vibration will have the deterioration effect. Sheath bearings. Check the bearings. The lubrication sign with the lube. Easy rotation worn bearings that cause the vibration in the rope with increasing the wire fatigue. Repair the bearings on the replaced sheath. Alright, check the flange for the wear, check the sheath for the groups of wear, check the bearings, the lube location, ease the rotation properly, branch rope, and the sheath groove too small, sheath groove is undercut, new rope will damage beyond the repair, sheath corrugated the ropes, print this sheaths will damage the rope. Alright, T7, the replacement descent cartridge every year release unless water buildup tanks. The descent cartridge replacement, drain the air system, use the strap wrench for the term descent cartridge counterclockwise, remove and discard. Remove the discard O-ring from the adapter plate inside. Note that if the excessive oil is in check valve port is compressed, may require the servicing. Clean the top surface of the adapter plate with the thread stud. Use greasing supply to apply light coating with the O-ring. Install the O-ring adapter. Apply the generous coat of the grease and the new descent cartridge surfaces. Thread new cartridge on the adapter stop. Turning clockwise when gasket and contacts adapter plate and tighten cartridge 1/2 turn. Do not over tighten. This must come in. Surface is the item of the Turbo 2000 for other items. Unloader valve, bleed the valve, etc. Refer to the component data section tab other than Turbo 2000 service manual. Or your Turbo 2000 manual. Alright, shows the descent cartridge, the check valve, the refrigeration valve, the valve nut, check valve nut, the refrigeration valve, the body gasket, the safety valve, wire harness, the heaters, bottom cap assembly, the whole purge kit, valve kit, steel retainer, turbo valve, differential check valve, and the body gasket. 2.8. Checking the winch of the oil level. Due to the way the winch is mounted on the machine, verify the oil level will be impossible. Unless the leakage is visible, change out the oil the first 100 hours of operation. Every 500 hours thereafter, do not overfill. Fill here and drain oil. Alright. T9, cleaning the oil cooler. Brush debris from the outside of the oil cooler with a soft brush. Inspect the flat fins of the damage obstruction. Every 200 hours, blow out the debris from the cooler fins with the lower pressure compressed air as required. Blow out this side. Brush this side. T10, lube drive shafts. Shows the lube the drive shafts. T11, check the engine oil. Check the oil level daily with the engine stop. If necessary, add sufficient oil to raise the level of the proper amount on the dipstick. All diesel engines designed to use some of the oil. Some periodic addition of the oil is normal. The oil level is constantly above the normal. Excessive lube oil has not been added to the crankcase. Contact the engine marker. The authorized surface outlisted in the engine manual. Fuel coolant dilution of the lube oil can result in serious engine damage. Never operate the engine with oil level below the low mark or above the high mark on the oil dipstick. Wait at least 15 minutes after shutting off the engine to check the oil. This will allow the time the oil drain the hand. Do not add makeup the oil until the oil level is below an add mark of the dipstick. John Deere engine break-in oil TY22041 should be used to make up the engine any oil consumed during the break-in period. Shift the left side oil filler cap, the right side oil filler cap, the rocker arm filler cap, and the crosshatch in the dipstick. Alright, check hydraulic oil level quality. Site inspection only. Inspect the oil level daily basis every 10 hours of operation. Reading the site gauge located on the side of the reservoir. All fuel level of the oil should be at the top of the site glass. The hydraulic system, the SA20 ISO 46 oil. Before filling the system with the hydraulic oil, be sure the fluid is specified that it is clean. Do not use the cloth strainer if the fluid has been stored with the contaminated containers. Care should be taken to keep the hydraulic oil free of dust and water, sealing compounds, other foreign material. While using the sight glass to verify the oil quality, the oil becomes darker and milky colored. It should be changed immediately. Note, always add hydraulic oil to the reservoir through a filter. Never overflow the filter or overfill the reservoir. Our T13 inspection rail sweeps elements. Inspect the rail sweep elements daily basis. Rail sweep elements clamps should be taken be vertical position in order to make contact with the rail. They cannot be tightened to the angle that is shown as in the top photo. They cannot be the rail desired. In the worn, breaking, or otherwise deformed, they should not be used. Loosen clamps turn so the wear is against the rail and lower until the element comes in contact with the rail. Alright, T14, check suction trainer element. Located inside of the reservoir, remove the inspected filter after the first 40 hours of operation every year. After their cleaning, after required to access the filter. Turn off the engine, make certain the suction valve is closed and off counterclockwise. Remove the pad block 1 for the pull out with the plug attached to the cable. Use an Allen wrench to turn the screw with the inside of the plug housing closing to open the counterclockwise to the close. Remove the 6 cap screws, lift off the front cover, reverse the process, reattach the cover. Note, if any of the remote reason for the removal suction line and the filter is necessary, you must seal the hydraulic tank to prevent the external contamination. T15, replacing the charge pump pressure filter element. Replace each time the travel filter element is replaced if there is lost performance and control of the track travel pump, the maximum of 600 hours between changeouts. T16, inspection hose, line fittings, and leaks. Look for loose and disconnected hose or oil spots between the machines. Good indication of loose of the hose and hydraulic compartments. 2, maintain certain shutoff valves, suction strainers open the valve to open and correct what appears to be the malfunction. 3, inspect all the vital hose connections, especially main pump, the main pump hose connection on the manifold. Look over the covered wire. Damage and indication of the twisted, worn, crimped, brittle, cracked, or leaking hoses without or covered with worn through. The otherwise damage should be considered until their further service. T17, inspection electrical connection harness of the tightness. Daily inspection for the harness connected with the controls operated with the control box switch with the logical box required harness that may not have proper connection could cause problems in starting and stopping the machine. In addition, with the harness connection, the foot switch should be inspected on a regular basis to guard against the wear, deterioration, etc., and not notice the excessive wear of the breakdown replacing the switch. T18, check the fan and alternator generator belts. Check the belts and tighten the fan drive with the battery charging alternator. Other than accessory drive belts should be neither too tight nor too loose. Belts that are too tight impose the excessive loads on the crankshaft, the fan, and the alternator bearings, shortening both the belt and bearing life. Excessive over-tightened belts can result in the crankshaft breaking. The loose belt will slip many of the causing damage to the accessory components. Replace all the belts in a set which one is worn. Single belts or similar size should not be used as a substitute of the matched belt size. Premature belt wear can result because of the belt length variation. Or T19, test hydraulic oil cleanliness. Proper fluid cleaning conditions essential for the log of the productive life of the hydraulic component system. Throughout, the precautions should always be observed to ensure the hydraulic system is clean. Filter each change the oil to prevent introduction of contamination into the system. 2, maintain the proper oil level with regular serve the filters and breathers reservoirs. 3, take precautions to prevent moisture of the contamination. Change the fluid whenever the contamination occurs because of every small amount of the water can affect the system performance as well as induce corrosion or oil breakdown. T20, checking the air cleaner engine cap. The engine indicator is shown right there. Do not allow the air inlet restriction to exceed 20 inches of the water. Under any operation condition, inspect the entire of the air system for the leak daily. Look for the torn air inlet pipe in the boots, loose of the damaged clamps. Have worn damaged parts repaired, replaced as required, retighten any loose connections. T21, drain water separator, fuel water trap on the engine if equipped. If the engine is equipped with a fuel water separator, drain off any of the water that has accumulated water in the fuel can seriously affect the engine performance and may cause the water damage. T22, check the battery condition, clean terminal. The battery requires the periodic servicing. Check out the electrical light on the weekly 40-hour basis. The distilled water is necessary. Do not overfill. The overfilling will make up the poor battery performance and earlier failure. Danger, shut off the engine when checking the battery electrical light. Do not check the filter battery in presence of open flame sparks. When smoking, battery fumes are flammable and order explosive, and if ignited will result in severely bodily injury or death. Main certain that this battery, its disconnect switch is in the opposition. Inspect the terminals clamp labels regular with a clean barrel and terminals cable clamps. When the corrosion visible, there are explosive excessively corroded damaged parts for the place to get the best performance of the battery. Make certain that the terminal side of the battery, terminal and cable clamps is clamped clean. The suggestion that the coat them in the grease and other suitable product reduce corrosion. When battery replacement becomes necessary, recommend that the replacement of the battery meets extended with the original battery specification, amps, the cranking power, etc. Refer to the specification page earlier in this manual. If the machine is to be out of service for more than 30 days, batteries should be removed and stored in a cool, dry place. T23 running pressure check for the main pump, the propulsion, blowout vents or monthly base vents on the monthly basis. Clean the screen filter on the weekly basis, more often if used continuously. Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is a matter. Troubleshooting is a matter of the Troubleshooting is a matter of the quickly, logically isolating cause of the problem and taking the corrective action operating experience throughout understanding the information for this manual. Accurate maintenance of the operation record is the best troubleshooting as an operator can have. The machine is a group with a rather simple system. If you understand the basic working of the system and individually how they relate to each other, the troubleshooting becomes a relatively simple task. The troubleshooting guide has broken down into 4 sections: engine, hydraulics, electrical, mechanical, pneumatical. It's intended to give the basic troubleshooting guidelines. Local condition operating methods may result in problems caused. Remedies not covered in this guide. To the use of the guide most efficiently locate the problem that matches the one being experienced and the step-by-step method to correct the cause listed on the correct method to use phone with the problem solved. Warning: always turn off the machine when performing maintenance and making adjustment whenever the unintended movement of the machine could occur, unless directed otherwise. Failure to comply with could result in personal injury or damage to the machine. For convenience, we've included copies of electrical hydraulic functioning schematics as well as the cable diagram, logical board layouts, and drawings. These are included in the troubleshooting section. When the temperature of diesel fuel is elevated to curb with the fuel circulated through the operating engine, that may pose the following hazards which should be guarded against. Refer to the engine manual for the details. Caution: before starting the new overhauled engine that has been stored, consult with the engine manufacturer manual. But the initial start with the instruction failure to follow the instruction could result in serious engine damage. Warning: exhaust emissions can be used with the engine oil. Machine may cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harms inhaled. Caution: never shut off the battery. Disconnect the switch for the engine running. This could cause damage to the voltage regulator, alternator, and electrical system. The following precautions should be taken to minimize the possibility of injuries in heated diesel fuel. Whenever possible, recommended that the engine fuel be given the opportunity to cool down with the ambient temperature before performing the service operation, which could result in the slippage of the fuel from the engine of the machine fuel system. When it's not possible, protective clothing, face shield, and insulated gloves, and apron should be worn as performing these operations. Keep the open flame spark for the potential ignition sources away. Do not smoke during the vehicle refueling the service of fuel operation, which could result in the escape of the liquid or vaporized diesel fuel. Engine machine fuel system and service operation should be performed in a well-ventilated area and kept them free of the bystanders. Refer to the engine manufacturer operation manual for troubleshooting your engine. Alright, electrical troubleshooting inspection. Inspect the electrical system for clues of the malfunction. Check to see if the unit is operated without further damage to the insulation and to the system electric. Always check the items before turning on the switches running the machine. Look at the bare wires that could be caught with the ground, or short wires can be damaged with the charging circuit. Look for loose broken wires. Inspect all connections, especially battery connection points. Clean harness connectors and grounding connections that can often correct what appears to be malfunction. Check the battery electrical light level. The continued loss of the electrolyte fluid indicate the overcharging the cracked battery case. Inspect overheated parts of the unit that has been stopped for a while. The will often smell like burned insulation. Put your hand on the alternator to heat the heat in this part while the machine has not been operated for some time. Is the shear clue charging circuit problem. Many electrical failures cannot be detected even if the machine is started. If the visual inspection does not indicate the possible manufacturer, refer to the electrical system troubleshooting guide as this follows. Alright, the electrical system of the machine can be found in the back of the troubleshooting section behind the electrical tab on this manual. The warning: disconnect the battery for servicing the machine. Failure to do so could result in personal injury, accidental engine startup. Caution: never shut off the battery disconnect switch while the engine running. This could cause the damage of the voltage regulator and alternator and electrical system. Alright, troubleshooting. Problem. Battery uses too much water. Crack battery. Frozen battery. Keep the battery fully charged in cold weather. Replace the battery. Low water level. Distilled water. Dirty water. Dirty wet battery top causing discharge. Clean, wipe, and dry battery top. Corrode loose battery cables. Clean and tighten battery cables. Broken battery post. Wiggle battery post by hand. If post wiggles and turns, replace battery. Wrong size replacement. Replace batteries with the type specified under the machine's specifications. Starting motor on the turn. Battery disconnect switch turned off. Turn the switch on the on position. Defective ignition switch, repair or replace. Direct the control not set in neutral. Lift the control handle to the unlock to move to neutral position. Bad solenoid, replace solenoid. Implement pump switch on. Turn the switch off position. Corrode battery terminals. Inspect and clear necessary. Air horn does not sound. The air pressure low. The horn circuit breaker to trip. Reset the circuit breaker. Horn defective. Select the horn and repair replace. Horn relay defective. Check the replay. Horn switch defective. Check the switch and repair replace. Backup alarm and not sound connection with the alarm loose, tighten connection with the wire harness defective. Check the harness, repair and service the alarm. Circuit breaker tripped. Reset the circuit breaker alarm defective. Check the alarm and repair the replace the alarm relay defective. Check the relay and check alarm switch defective. Check the switch and repair and replace. Travel lights do not work. Warning harness is defective. Check the harness and repair or replace. Connect the light loose. Connect the connection. Circuit breaker to trip. Reset the circuit breaker. Switch defective. Check the switch and replace the repair or replace. Connect the switch. You can loose tighten connection. Light defective. Replace lightning. Replace the light connection. The circuit breaker panel loose. Tighten the connection. Working lights do not work. The wiring harness is defective. Check the harness and repair replace. Connect the light loose. Tighten the connection. Circuit breaker trip. Reset the circuit breaker. Switch defective. Check the switch and repair and replace. Connect the switch loose. Tighten the connection. Light defective. Replace the light. Correct connection of the circuit breaker and panel to tighten the connection. Cooling fan not loose the connection at the back of the fan. Tighten the connection. Loose the cooling fan not working. Loose the connection. The circuit breaker panel to tighten the connection. Loosen the connection. Loose connection of the relay. Tighten the connection. Brake lights do not work. Warning harness defective. Check the harness, repair, and replace. Connecting all light loose, tightening connection. Circuit breaker to trip. Reset circuit breaker. Switch defective. Clean switch, repair, replace connection. The switch loose, tighten the connection. Light defective. Replace light connection. All circuit breaker panels and loose to tighten the connection. Mechanical troubleshooting inspection. Inspect the mechanical system, include the malfunction. Check to see if they can be operated without further damage. Warning: always turn off the machine with performing maintenance, making an adjustment whenever the unintended movement of the machine could occur, unless directed. Otherwise, failure to comply could result in personal injury, damage to the machine. Our machine will not propel. Main pump is not delivering pressure. See hydraulic troubleshoot with the brakes not releasing. See the next problem. Propulsion release setting low. Increase the relief setting. Defective motor and broken drive shaft. Repair replace motor shaft. Brakes will not release. Air pressure is too low. Adjusting the regulating setting. Regulator setting. Brake will not release. Brake cylinder bypassing air. Inspect replace cylinder. Brake will not play. Broken brake spring. Inspect the spring and replace necessary. Brake and shoes worn. Inspection shoes. Replace necessary. Boom will not lift or lower. Lock up engage. Disengage lock. Obstruction the pinch points. Remove the obstruction pressure pump. Pressure problem at the lifting cylinder. Adjust the main relief and replace cylinder carrier bushing. Not a lubricated grease bushing. Stuck control valve spool. Inspect and repair. Winch motor defective. Inspect and replace them. Repair and replace. Boom will not spring. Flow control valves improperly adjust, inspect, and adjust the necessary piston and bypassing repair and cylinder. Stuck control valve spool, inspect and repair. Broken breakaway operates too easily. Relieve the valve setting too slow, too low. Stuck open. Inspect and replace the necessary cutter head won't maintain RPM's engine. Not at full RPM. Adjust the throttle system pressure problem. Adjust system pressure. Defective cutter head motor. Replace motor. Excessive vibration, uneven distributed blades missing, repair blades, lack of lubricating blade shaft housing, fill the grease for the grease exists inside on the cutter head of the housing, blade side, blade cartridge shafting, bearing failure, replace the bearing, defective cutter head motor, replace motor, cracked or damaged blade, replace blade. Cutter heads will not rotate. Motor defective. Inspect the repair and replace the necessary. Relative relief valve faulty. Inspect the repair and replace necessary. Pump defective. Inspect repair and replace as necessary. Excessive noise and transmission power brake is parking brake is applied. Release brake. Oil level is too low. Add oil. Foreign object select. Jamming shifter arm removed. Damage shifter fork spring replaced. Transmission mounting bolts loose tighten. Axle vibration during speed change, the torque limit, link pins or bearings are damaged, repair and replace. Axle housing running hot, parking brake left on, engage over the oil level low, develop level plug, pinion bearing damaged, repair replace. Scissor vibration during high speed, journal bearings are dry, replace. Suspension wearing plates are worn, replace. Universal joints are worn, replace. Uneven wheel diameter resurface, replace. Low air pressure 90 to 120 psi is normal. Faulty air pressure of the governor, adjusting governor setting of the replacement necessary. The faulty air compressor, refer to the engine manual. Leaking hose or leaking diaphragm in the air brake chamber. They check the air leak for the foot level in the air position. Applied position. Air pressure correct, but the brakes will not apply. Foot valve not working. Repair and replace. Quick and release. The valve malfunctioning. Repair and replace. Parking and emergency brake won't release. Low air pressure. Adjusting the air compressor governor. Faulty parking emergency brake control. Inspecting. Repair and replace is necessary. And that concludes the book. The of the Nordco Equipment Services Model BC60RB UG Trailblazeer on track brush cutter operation and maintenance manual.